Hello and welcome. So today we're going to dive deep into a Bob Dylan classic, a song from 1983 that has become, well, kind of shockingly relevant. We're going to see how it gives us this incredibly powerful way of looking at some of the biggest challenges we're all facing right now.
Right? It's a wild question, I know. How on earth can a song from the album Infidels, written decades before the whole AI explosion, speak so directly to our worries about things like autonomous weapons, social media power, and technology that's just running away from us? Well, that is exactly what we are here to unpack.
To really get this song, you have to realize it's playing a different game. This isn't your standard protest song. Dylan doesn't name a single president or a general or a specific war. He's not just protesting one event, he's diagnosing a kind of sickness in the entire system.
See, what the song is really describing is a social logic, a pattern of power, where the ability to control things gets confused with the right to control things. And that makes it a durable model, a blueprint for how unaccountable power works, whether you're talking about 1983 or right now, today.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of this diagnosis. How exactly does Dylan build this anatomy of power that feels so completely timeless?
The most important word is sitting right there in the title, license. This isn't about some rogue villain or random acts of evil. A license, well, that means you have permission. It tells you that the destructive force Dylan is singing about is actually socially authorized. It's been trained and maybe even celebrated by our institutions.
And Dylan, he breaks down exactly how this happens, like it's a manufacturing process. He sings, they teach him and they groom him for life. This isn't something that happens overnight. It's a long, slow process. First, you socialize someone into a system that has completely warped values. Then, you groom them to see this order, this domination, as totally normal. And finally, after all the damage is done, you bury him with stars. You use medals and ceremonies to make the whole destructive thing seem legitimate.
But here's the song's absolutely brilliant psychological twist. The guy with this license, he puts on this performance of total strength, of absolute control. He wants everything his way. But underneath that tough exterior, Dylan tells us he's actually afraid and confused. So this isn't real strength at all. It's a fragile, insecure dominance that's just masking a really deep weakness.
And this image, wow, it just gets right to the narcissistic heart of the whole thing. This person isn't connected to the real world. He's trapped by his own reflection in a stagnant pool. The rest of the world just becomes stuff for his ego to consume. It's a kind of moral and spiritual dead end, replacing any real connection to other people.
Now, just when we're completely sunk in this dark diagnosis of power, Dylan introduces a totally different voice. A moral counterpoint that comes out of nowhere and just changes everything.
And he doesn't bring in some politician or a big-shot philosopher to challenge the system. Nope, he brings in a totally ordinary person, a local witness he just calls the woman on my block. She stands completely outside of all the power structures that she's looking at.
And her job, her only job in the song, is to ask the one question that just cuts through all this ceremony, all the performance, all the excuses. It's the question the whole system is designed to ignore, but she just keeps asking it over and over again.
So this character, she is the moral anchor for the entire song. She stops the story of unchecked power dead in its tracks with a simple, powerful demand for accountability. She pulls this huge critique right back down to earth, down to the neighborhood, to ordinary life. She is the public conscience. Okay, so this all brings us right back to that first question we asked. Why does this 40-year-old framework feel so incredibly urgent right now? How does it connect to our modern world? It's because the basic problem Dylan pointed to, it never went away. In fact, you could say it sped up. We are still creating these immense technological and political powers that are growing way faster than our ability to morally or democratically control them. There's this dangerous moral lag.
And this song's framework, it just maps perfectly onto today's new battlegrounds. Think about autonomous weapon systems, designed to use lethal force without any real human in the loop. Or the whole challenge of AI governance, where what we can do is racing way ahead of whether we should do it. Or even platform power, this huge licensed ability to shape what billions of people see and believe and fear every single day.
But let's be super clear here. The song isn't some magic prophecy that predicted AI. That's not the point. Its real value is that it gives us this timeless framework, a powerful tool for asking the right kinds of tough questions about any kind of concentrated, unaccountable power.
So you see, that question, the one asked by the woman on the block,
The one that echoed through a song from 1983? It's been passed directly to us. It's not just a lyric in a song anymore. It's become maybe the central question of our time.
Who is going to make sure that all these incredible new powers are held in check by morality and democratic control? Who's going to step up and take away the license? That's the question the song leaves us with, and it's a question we all have to figure out how to answer for ourselves.